Hello there, beautiful people. Today we gotta have a much needed conversation about culture, or more precisely, cancel culture. And to do this, we gotta go back a few years. Some of you, if not all of you, may find this redundant, but in case anyone is not familiar with the backstory of what we're going to be talking about, they will find it very difficult to follow, so bear with me. It's been several years since a major controversy online took perhaps the biggest entertainment industry by storm. We're talking about the video games industry. We're talking about a series of events known online as Gamergate. There is so much to talk about, but the TLDR version of what happened, in my estimation, is such. The video game industry got exposed to a huge volume of corruption as it relates to game development and the journalism aspects of the industry. One of the principal characters, Zoe Quinn, was found to have been sleeping with game developers to get a leg up, and journalists also engaged in similar forms of corruption to push games of a certain genre, or to be more precise, games that have a certain angle as it relates to social justice. When the individuals involved in this unethical practice got exposed and enough sunlight was shed on them, well, these people started playing the victim. They started diluting the definition of harassment and bullying. Simple criticisms and questions were labeled as misogyny, harassment, bullying, you name it. And very soon these people were able to exploit the public sympathy to steer the conversation, not in the direction of corruption that was just exposed, but in the direction of look how mean people are to us, it must be because we are the women. The two main figureheads, Anita Sarkeesian and Zoe Quinn, also found themselves at a UN seminar lecturing how mean we are for exposing their degeneracy. Mainstream media, who are often totally clueless about the online culture, jumped into the bandwagon and picked the side of the narrative conducive to their usual social justice bullshit. In the midst of these whirlwind, these total degenerate SJWs pumped up their Patreon, gained a substantial following, and started rolling in the monetary support of beta white knights. And in this whirlwind, Zoe Quinn made a series of sexual assault allegations against a Canadian indie developer, Alec Holowka. Now, when I say she made allegations, I mean she did not go to the authorities, did not pursue any legal action, just went to Twitter, threw up allegations in the air, and was like, hey, this is what happened. I got no proof, at least none that I can use in court anyways, but if y'all want to throw me some Patreon dollars, head them over to my direction, that would be nice. And as far as this dude is concerned, well, let's just have the mob decide what happens. Well, the mob decided. The mob decided the fellow will not be having a career. The mob decided, well, the man may or may not be guilty, and we definitely cannot prove guilt, but why not stop his career anyways? Why should we not take everything from him on the basis of Twitter allegations? What's particularly perverse is this. Zoe Quinn knew the dude was suffering from mental health issues, and still rather than resort to the courts and authorities, decided to unleash the outrage mob on him. And of course he felt the full force of cancel culture. Now we may never know the validity of the allegations, partly because Zoe has provided little or no evidence, but mostly because Alex decided to take himself out. News broke on August 31st. Here's his sister's response. Alec Holowka, my brother and best friend, passed away this morning. Those who know me will know that I believe survivors and have always done everything I can to support survivors. Those suffering from mental illnesses and those with chronic illnesses, Alec was a victim of abuse, and he also spent a lifetime battling mood and personality disorders. I will not pretend that he was not responsible for causing harm, but deep down he was a person who only wanted to offer people care and kindness. It took him a while to figure out how. Over the last few years, with therapy and medication, Alec became a new person. The same person he had always been, but without any of the darkness. He was calm and happy, positive and loving. Obviously, change is a slow process and it wasn't perfect. He was still working towards rehabilitation and a better life. In the last few days, he was supported by many Manitoba crisis services, and I want to thank everyone there for their support. I want to thank Adam Saltzman for staying up late talking with us and reminding Alec that there was a future. Now, when we're talking about people suffering from depression or perhaps other forms of mental health concerns, it is hard to explain, understand, or predict their actions. Alec, for the most part, did hint towards suffering from various mental health concerns for most of his career.
But we were very much on the same page in terms of wanting to talk about mental health stuff and dealing with the characters as like characters who feel real. Because I think we've both had real life experiences like that. Characters don't tend to talk about, they don't like self-diagnose, which I think is good. Like, I think there are some people who do that, but I think May is like not super aware of what she's dealing with.
The people who said whatever it is they have to say about him that perhaps contributed to this is now hiding their tweets, deleting their posts, and spreading the contact numbers for suicide prevention. Yes, irony is indeed lost on a lot of these people. Now, while many of us will be quick to point a finger at the likes of Zoe Quinn and such degenerates, I do not believe these people are the root cause. People like Zoe Quinn exist because the cancel culture. This is the culture that we promote, and this incentivizes people like Zoe Quinn to do what they do. If the standards of innocent until proven guilty is not maintained, if social media kangaroo courts are allowed to ruin people's lives on the basis of allegations, then people like Zoe Quinn will always be there to capitalize on it. It's the greater culture that needs to change. You cannot predict or control the behavior of individuals. The mentality needs to evolve, or we are screwed beyond repair. Now, people online, please, I beg of you, do not use this to express any harsh remarks to the Zoe Quinns of the world, because these vultures will turn around and capitalize to make more Patreon dollars. They'll use this to push more bullshit victim narratives by diluting the meaning of terms that I do not think we should be diluting. I repeat, these vultures are not the cause of the problem. They may be capitalized on the problem, but they are not creating it. We are the tools that are being used to push people over the edge on the basis of allegations.